Alright, time for round 2. If you've seen my review of Blaster Master Zero, you know I could not stop gushing about that game. Coming to us courtesy of Inti Creates of Mega Man Zero and Azure Striker Gunvolt fame, it's one of the best remakes I have ever played. It took a franchise with extremely messy lore and somehow turned it into a cohesive, emotional story about a boy and his frog. And his tank. And his amnesiac GF. And also the frog is an alien who can open wormholes, and you know what, it's a good story, let's leave it at that. And now we're talking about the sequel. Yeah, the original NES Blaster Master never really got one, but Zero sure did. The question is it as good as the first game? Let's break it down. If you missed the big 2 in the title, this is in fact a sequel. Meaning that even discussing the premise of this game spoils the ending of the first one. So we're gonna talk about gameplay first, and then I'll cover the plot stuff in its own section, okay? Okay. There's a new overhead section where you control the tank and visit different planets, but really that's just a glorified level select screen. The more meaty gameplay is once again split up into 2 halves. Tank action with Sophia, and on-foot exploration with Jason. The tank sections are side-scrolling Metroidvania goodness, jumping around, blasting enemies, unlocking sub-weapons, and backtracking once you have the right tools. It's very standard Metroidvania design, but man, it scratches that upgrade collecting itch very well. You have 2 meters, health, green, and energy, blue. Sub-weapons and movement tricks drain your energy, and typically you would restore it by killing enemies and picking up refills. But Jason installed a new toy in the tank, the Gaia system. The Gaia system recharges Sophia by using kinetic energy. Basically, if you fall off a tall enough height or get hit by enemies, you recover power. This is great because it severely cuts down on grinding. Running low on power? Just find a ledge and yeet the tank off of it. Sophia doesn't take any fall damage, so it's all good. The tank weapons are solid overall, with some sub-weapons being useful both for combat and exploration. My personal favorites will probably be Spark, which turns you into an invincible dash of pure violence, and Impact Wave, which surrounds Sophia with a damaging wall. Both great for getting annoying enemies off your hair. Now here's the thing. You can hop out and control Jason directly, but during these specific side-scrolling sections, he's garbage is the word, I think. His blaster is a pea shooter and he takes fall damage so easily you would think he's made of glass. The guy can build a spacefaring super tank, but apparently knee pads are beyond him. Most of the time, you should actively avoid walking around as Jason. Unless, of course, you're in one of the sections where the game forces you to, which it does during some platforming segments that can get real frustrating real fast. But once you enter a dungeon, suddenly Jason transforms into a real badass. We shift to a top-down perspective and you can cycle through a bunch of different blaster modes, sub-weapons, and a new counter system, any of which can be conveniently mapped to a shortcut. The blaster modes are varied, but let's be honest here, most people are just gonna stick to about 2 or 3 of them. I used Reflect for energy, Whip for close-up damage, and Wave, the undisputed king. Wave hits hard, pierces walls, and fires fast. They did nerf it here so it loses power if you spam it, but it's still the best shot in the game. Sub-weapons, grenades and the Axle Charger carried me. Grenades do splash damage, helping take out multiple enemies at once, and the Axle Charger basically works as this game's Devil Trigger, buffing all your weapons for a limited amount of time. Counters are new to Zero 2, letting Jason pull off some cool anime moves like reflecting bullets, teleporting behind enemies, and stunning them with a blast. I'm gonna be honest though, only the blast feels reliable. I found the others either whiff or get you smacked more often than not. You can't just spam the counter, by the way. Using it consumes energy and you have to either wait for it to recharge or then blast some mutants yourself. Comparing it to the first game, the gameplay got balanced to make certain moves less OP, but also make the general flow of the game faster. Zero 2 is noticeably harder than Zero 1's normal mode, but in a good way. It's the kind of tough game that challenges you to get better, not the kind that makes you want to throw the controller at the screen. Moving on to the aesthetics, the pixel art gets a serious upgrade here. Sprites are much more detailed and colorful than they were before. Jason, for instance, has a cape now, which makes him look even more like a badass shonen anime protagonist. Environments are also way more varied. One planet might be basically Space Japan, another might be covered in lasers, another might be a spaceship. It really feels like the devs wanted to surprise you with each new world you visited. The soundtrack is solid, with the main theme standing out. It's not, blasted in your car good, but it absolutely does its job in hyping you up while mowing down the mutant scum. Okay, now we're gonna talk about that story. If you haven't played Zero 1, go away now. So, after saving the world with the power of love and anime, Jason and Eve discover the girl's been infected with mutant cells. They're slowly corrupting her, which is, I guess, the explanation they give for her looking a bit more, developed, let's say. Does that make any sense? Not in the slightest, but if it means I get a cute catgirl robot waifu with a 10 out of 10 hourglass figure, I can't really complain. Seeing Eve suffering and realizing nobody on Earth can cure her, Jason does the only reasonable thing. He modifies Sophia Zero into G Sophia, capable of space travel, and blasts off across the galaxy to find Eve's home planet in the hopes that her creators will be able to save her. Talk about relationship goals, huh? And so we have our premise. Our beloved couple has to travel around different planets, finding ways to unlock the spaceways so they can reach Eve's homeworld of Sophia. The first game's story was impressive, mostly for how it managed to organize this franchise's train wreck of a lore, but this one expands the lore and the world significantly. Jason and Eve discover that they're not alone. Other metal attacker teams are out there fighting mutants too. You have Team Iki, composed of M.A. Kuebiku, Pilot the Ronin Gonbei, Catgirl Android Tae, and their pet dragonfly Tappy. There's also Team Flower, M.A. Ayer, Rule 34 Plant Girl Kana, Butler Android Kenwood, and their pet rabbit Yakobu. There's also Team DeVito, M.A. Adam, Badass Rockman Stein on the piloting chair, and the little girl Tesset. And of course, Team Earth, M.A. G Sophia, Real Human Being Jason, Cutie Pie Eve, and Teleporting Frog Fred. It's wild how many characters get introduced, each with their very distinct personalities, and the game pulls it off without drowning you in cutscenes. Honestly, it feels like watching a solid shonen anime season, Rivalries, allies, dramatic battles, power of friendship energy everywhere. Oh, and speaking of rivals, meet Leibniz in the M.A. Garuda. He's basically this game's version of Sasuke Uchiha. Edgy loner with tragic backstory? Check. Cool design? Check. Brooding rival energy? Double check. His battles, I think there's about 2 or 3 of them, are great as well. You can't just cheese him with wave, you actually need to switch up your weapons to keep up, or he's gonna kick your ass in no time flat. Like with the first game, the true ending is locked behind getting certain items. Here, Jason, Fred, and Sophia get petrified and you briefly play as Eve herself, which is cool until you realize that she's just as fragile as Jason outside the tank and has significantly fewer weapons. But then she finds out that maybe the real Blaster Master 02 were the friends we made along the way, as all of the teams I previously mentioned join in on an all-out offensive against the mutant Cocoon, the big monster that destroyed Leibniz's planet and crew. Eve fires a huge purifying laser at the thing, rescuing her BF. But the fighting isn't over yet, as the Cocoon hatches and the gang reunites for one final battle against Droll Revo. Okay, alien names, man, I swear. An extremely powerful mutant boss that forces you to swap weapons constantly. It's a brutal but fair fight, and it's super satisfying once you win. Turns out, the big laser not only rescued everybody, but also cured Eve of her infection. So now our beloved couple is ready to just take it easy and live happily ever after. Yeah, right. We cut back to Earth. Turns out that after Jason and Eve left, the mutants came back for another crack at the whole world domination thing, and Team Earth is now too far away to be contacted. And so, the job of saving the planet falls on the shoulders of none other than our old rival, Leibniz. Cue the hype for the third game. So, is Blaster Master Zero 2 better than the first game? Yes, but just barely. And that's not even an insult, it's just that the first game was already so good that there really wasn't much room to improve upon it, but they managed. Tighter balance, better visuals, more characters, anime-level storytelling, it's everything a sequel should be. Sure, Jason still dies if he trips on a pebble, and some sections are way more annoying than they are fun, but overall, this is a fantastic Metroidvania, and I cannot wait to play Zero 3 next year. Well, that's it for today. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Next time, we're shifting gears into comics, specifically a team Marvel buried so hard that they only used their names in the MCU to trick us. That's right, we're talking about the Thunderbolts next. See you then.